All right,
Got it.
we're rolling now. Okay, so Katie, why don't you get us started?
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Plus Oils community. We're having our spring cleaning class this evening. So glad you could join us. If you are a Plus Oils member, you can always invite friends to these free calls. They're twice a month, and we always rotate the topics. And it's so fun to have these calls to look forward to come together and sit down and like experience share. And we have Peggy, our clinical certified aromatherapist, who's an absolute treasure to learn from, to be friends with, to have in our community of support and education. She's an incredible wealth of knowledge and experience herself and has helped thousands of people and their families switch to chemical-free living through Young Living and natural products, not the fake ones that were all sold on a
And I
day-to-day
would
basis.
say, in addition to you, Katie, who are also a wealth of knowledge, and you too, Marlisa, I always learn when you're on these calls because you know so much about so much. And is that a Highland Flats sweatshirt you are wearing?
Yes, actually, yes.
So tell everyone where you
I'm
got.
wearing it all day and left it on for the calls. I thought, oh, I should put on a nicer shirt. And I was like, is there a more perfect shirt? I bought this, Peggy, when I was with you that
Yeah.
day at Highland Flats. They had a shop
Mm-hmm.
and it's my favorite color, green, and I love it.
So what's significant about the Highland Flats? Tell everybody where it is, what they grow, what they
Mhm.
distill, and a little bit about.
Yeah. Highland Flats Farm is in Idaho, and they grow mostly all our pine and tree oils that are there on the Highland Flats farm. So this is where we get our spruce, our grand fir, our white fir, our Idaho balsam fir. We get our pine
We get a
there,
evergreen essence.
and evergreen essence comes from Highland Flats. You're right.
Mm.
So incredible to walk on that land and learn all about the things that were the most important to Gary Young when he founded Young Living was the quality of the soil and how pristine the earth has to be in order to get true medicinal, exceptional, genuine essential oils. It has to start with the soil and the seed. That's coincidentally why we have a seed to seal guarantee in Young Living that you cannot get anywhere else. So our oils are pristine, and you learn all about that on the farms. And there's a distillery right there on the farm. So unlike other essential oils out there in the world or other companies that sell essential oils, you really don't know how long it takes for that crop to get to the distillery. It could be dried up and crusty at that point. It could be shipped from China. But in Young Living, you get to see that process on the same plot of land. You get to see a harvest happening at its peak, and then going straight to the distillery, where you can watch with your own eyes and see the entire process yourself of how those essential oils that do so much good for our body get distilled right there in front of you. It's incredible. And you know what else they have in Highland Flats? They have, or no, it's not Highland Flats. It's it's the partner farm there that Young Living has in Idaho, where they have the big saunas that the employees and the farmers can soak in. So they soak in the floral water, which is the water that's used in the distillation process where the essential oil separates from the water. There's a ton of medicinal value in that water. So Gary Young would take that water and put it into these giant hot tubs right on the site. And since the temperatures there in Idaho, especially during winter harvest and Highland Flats, are like way below zero, because Gary knew that that's when the oil from the plants was the most beneficial. So that's the time to do it. And these farmers and workers would be very, very cold. So they would thaw out in the medicinal floral water. It's just incredible. Like there's so much to learn. So incredible. So segueing into Thieves and how important it is for us to have these pristine oils surrounding us in our home, there's very good reason that we have an entire Thieves line in Young Living. So most popular is the Thieves Essential Oil Blend. And the story behind that is during the plague, when you would see in history those very like odd and almost creepy looking like long beak masks, these robbers, right, thieves, would go stealing from the dead and dying during the plague in France. And they were never caught. This went on for years. Finally, when they were captured, they were spared their lives in order to divulge the secret as to why they never caught the plague themselves. And their secret was a poultice of the herbs, so that, when you grind certain herbs and you like massacre them, like if you were to even if you, as simply as to put it, if you were to crush a garlic clove and really give it elbow grease and really pulverize it, it would get oily, right? You would see that garlic oil come out. So that's what they would do to the herbs, and the oils would kind of start to extract from the herbs, and they would line those masks with that recipe, and they were spared from a deadly illness. So Thieves was then created right from that recipe. So Thieves is a blend of rosemary, cinnamon bark, lemon, and eucalyptus, and it's infused into the household cleaner, which has made Young Living famous. There are people that think that Thieves is its own company, which is pretty awesome if you think about it. They're like, wait, that's Young Living? No, it's Thieves. No, I need Thieves. I'm like, yeah, it's by Young Living because it's so popular, right, Peggy?
Yeah, it's the top selling blend out of all of Young Living. And you're
Oh
right.
my gosh.
Exactly.
And it works. It works when we put that blend on our feet to support our immune system. It works to kind of safeguard us and give us that extra layer of protection when you don't want to be under the weather, because that's never fun. So that blend is infused into the household cleaner. And the family of Thieves grew very quickly because of it working so well and because of it being so popular and plant-based, that it has grown into a whole family of Thieves products that we're going to talk about this evening. So why is it important to clean with this stuff, with Thieves, instead of the mainstream products that are out there? I see, Marlisa, I know you explain greenwashing so well, and that is a real thing, and it's like an assault on us consumers. Can you explain what greenwashing is?
Absolutely. So greenwashing is the process of conveying any type of false impression or providing misleading information about how a company's products are more environmentally sound. Maybe it really makes you feel like when you start ditching some of the products, and I'll ask at the end for anyone here what you're currently using if you're not sure, if there's something in your home that you either want to switch or you're not sure if it's clean or not, type it in the chat. But usually when people start to first learn about their products and things that they're using in their home, they go to the store and they say, okay, I want to make a better decision. I want to live a healthier life. And they start to look at the products. And so you'll see colors like greens, or a new one that I've seen is 7th generation puts a cardboard outer layer, but the inside is plastic, right? So, or it might say there's so many chemicals. So maybe it's like chlorine free, paraben free, they take like 1 or 2 chemicals and they'll put it out there. So it's like, all natural, but these are all marketing tactics that just make you feel like you're making a good decision, but they're not really truly clean. So that's the whole thing that's called greenwashing.
Right. And since it's very trendy these past few years to go green, marketing is, the tactic which is behind this, why we're being sold chemical products that appear to have a clean and non-toxic label. Basically, we're just being duped. And just the other week, I had a friend reach out to me saying, oh, I saw your information that you put out there on Facebook about Mrs. Meyer's cleaning products. And I guess I got duped because I used to use Thieves years ago, and I got duped by the fragrances and the fact that it looked clean and the bottles looked so pretty. They matched my bathroom decor. So, you know, they were on sale, whatever the reasons are. She's like, you reminded me that, you know, I've been fooled. And that's exactly what greenwashing is. So it's really important not to like, so the ingredients in greenwashed products are just as toxic as like Clorox all-purpose cleaner. And just like you said, Marlisa, wrapping around cardboard on it and putting a picture of a leaf and saying all natural, which doesn't mean anything, doesn't change what's actually inside the bottle. So I make this joke sometimes with my kids. They're like, oh, can we get this food? Can we stop and get this food or something? I go, well, it's not really food. It's not real food. I'm like, I guess you could eat it. I mean, you could also like wrap up some dog poo and say yummy food on the bag, but you wouldn't want, and they're like, oh God, like, well, when you put it like that, Mom, you know, but it really is like the same type of thing. It's like, well, you know, it's much more than meets the eye. So there's so many harmful irritants in these like chemical ingredients that go into these mainstream cleaners that irritate our sinuses. They induce coughing. They put such a burden on bodily organs. They mess up our hormones. And not just for adults, they mess up hormones for adolescents and young children that are just starting to develop a hormone balance in their body. And we're not even diving into mostly the products that we put directly on our body. Like that's extremely important, talking about chemical-free lifestyle. Your lotion, your shampoo, your body wash, whatever body sprays teenagers love these days, all these things that are sold to us are harming us in a very, very bad way. So when we are experiencing nicer weather and we want the windows open and we all have that itch to do spring cleaning, we best be reaching only for Thieves line of products. My new recent favorite is the scrub. My goodness, if you don't have this yet, it is most definitely worth getting a container. A little goes a long way. I love that stuff. And surrounding ourselves with cleaning products that immediately go into the air, right? As soon as you spray countertop cleaner or a window cleaner, you're also breathing it in. So whatever toxic ingredients are in that cleaner, they're reaching your bloodstream in about 20 seconds or so. And it's causing respiratory distress. And there's a very good reason why, if you've ever sprayed Lysol around, that you start coughing, right? It induces like spasms in the lungs and it burns your eyes. And these chemical mainstream products, we typically lock them away from children because there's a poison control number on them, right? So I was duped by this industry years ago as well. And I thought I was doing good by buying a, you know, more of a natural cleaner. But it was like at ShopRite. And the more we know, you know, yes, Thieves is safe for children. So like we're a family of 5 and I like that my kids can be able to help clean. I'm not going to give them a toxic cleaner that's going to burn their eye. I mean, because if my kids aren't able to help clean the house, I mean, like, why have kids, right?
Oh,
Oh, and
Well,
yeah,
that's the reason we have kids, just to help clean the house, right? No.
that
Katie,
little,
can I just interject something briefly along the lines of what you've been saying?
Yeah.
You've been describing some of the ways that these toxic cleaners that so many of us have used, either are still using, or in, you know, most of us probably in the past, but that can affect us adversely. But think about the aromas and where they go, or the olfactory nerve. It picks up all those synthetic fragrances and those chemicals and takes it directly to our brain. And so think about the and your animals and how many more olfactory nerves they have, and think about the extreme increase in cancers in our animals at young ages. Now, what is causing that? And what are they walking on the floor, and what are your children crawling on the floor? And realize that anything, your skin is not impermeable, it absorbs everything. So these chemicals go directly into your bloodstream, they go directly into your brain. And I've noticed also the increase in kind of behavioral, what we call behavioral issues in children. Children with attention deficit and, ADHD and, things like that. We don't know just how some of these chemicals that they're exposed to are, affecting them. And so I think my solution has been, having had always animals, and I've had them earlier on with real serious problems, even like seizures and, really bad stuff. That's all brain stuff. 10 years before I became involved in Young Living, I cleaned up my household. I got rid of the toxic cleaners. I changed out for better ones, which weren't as good as Thieves. I went all organic. So I just wanted to interject that, because that is such a prevalent problem in our children and in our animals. Just something to consider.
Yeah. We're affected by everything in our environment, and we can't always control what we're exposed to when we go to a store, or when children go, to a school or at a friend's house or whatnot. But we can control, especially what we spend our own hard-earned money on, and the sanctuary that we have in our own home. The essential oils that go into the air at night can be very healing, and very clearing for our cells. So that's a way I feel like we combat the toxins from the rest of the environment, by turning on our diffuser at night and making sure we clean with Thieves, which supports the body and does all things healthy for us to touch and to breathe. But it's got to work, right? I've also bought natural cleaners before, and they don't do anything. They're horrible. They're a waste of money. They don't work. Thieves is so popular because it works, and a little goes a long way. Young Living does not ship us diluted products. They are all very concentrated, very potent, powerful, yet completely natural. So when someone asked if Thieves is safe for children, yes, my son has accidentally sprayed Thieves household cleaner right into his face. And I'm not worried, and he's not screaming, and he's not coughing. My brother, when he had his puppy, his girlfriend spilled the concentrate onto the floor, and the puppy started licking it up. And she texted me like, do I have anything to worry about? Should I rush him to the vet? I'm like, no, he's going to be fine. Like, really, could you imagine if that was Mr. Clean or like Bonami, someone said earlier, which is
they've actually used the Thieves household cleaner in cattle feed, in the water of horses, to really deal with bacterial infections within the herd. So it's safe. It's actually safe to ingest. Now, I'm not suggesting drinking a bottle of Thieves, but there's lots of ways that it can be extremely beneficial.
Yeah, I even heard of a family member accidentally thinking it was the mouthwash and like gargling with that. Of course, it got very foamy, I'm sure. He spit it out right away, but he's fine. I mean, this pamphlet, I was digging around looking for something else, and I came across this 350 plus ways to use the Thief product line from Young Living. 350 ways to use these products. Obviously, I'm not going to read them all, because I know we all have recipes we want to share, and I want to hear from Marlisa and Caitlin. But I just want to say that for the Thieves household cleaner alone, can you guys see this? For the Thieves household cleaner alone, I'm flipping the page again. There is
say-
6 different pages, all with uses, everything from a carpet cleaner to sanitizing your sponges, to polishing wooden tables and frames, to misting your plants to keep bugs and stuff off them with the Thieves household cleaner alone.
Yeah. it
So
works
if
just
you
like
want,
it works just like an insecticidal soap.
Yeah. So if
It's so
anyone on this
crazy.
call, if you want to be like, oh, reach out to me and I can screenshot some of this for you. And I can give you ideas. There's a whole page on the dish soap. I don't know if you guys have this, but this stuff is great. There's a whole page on how to use the dish soap in many, many ways. So Marlisa, you were going to talk about the Thieves Cleaner bottle before?
Yeah, so I will say, out of all those recipes, because I remember when I first got that book, I was like, I want to make like everything that I really found. You don't even need to do half of it. Like just making, so the Thieves household cleaner that Katie had, so that she mentioned that's a concentrate. This is a 16-ounce amber glass bottle. You literally take a cap full of that and then you dilute it with water. So, and that's another reason why it's so safe. And I will say my sister-in-law is probably the hardest person ever as far as like how we live. Like we're so different, right? And just a couple months ago, she was willing to try it. One of her kids has asthma, a lot of issues with her kids, and her husband, they hunt, they live in Pennsylvania. They go hunting, they breed dogs. I mean, it's just, and so like her husband, forget about it. Like he's like, and I heard that he used the Thieves cleaner to clean and I was like, my jaw was on the floor. I mean, they're probably like the most difficult people ever and they are really loving all the products. And I was just like,
that's a huge win.
Oh my God, the steam stick, the laundry detergent. And I'm like, so how'd it work? And she's like, it did great. And I'm like, it's awesome. So dishwasher detergent, she's like, she just didn't think it could work, like something natural that was healthy. So she's finally getting rid of all her plugins and stuff. So it's been awesome.
That's huge. It's so awesome.
Yeah. So I know how someone had asked me earlier. So this, when I mentioned just using capful in here, so this, it says Thieves cleaner, but this literally, I use this for everything other than my toilets. So for cleaning, I use it for my countertops. You can use it on granite. You can use it on wood. So when I mop, I actually just take a capful and just put it in my mop bucket, and you can clean your wooden floors. I know that was a question I had gotten asked. We also have laminated wooden floors. You can use it on tile. There's not a surface that you cannot use it on. So windows, it doesn't leave the streaky. So this can be a glass cleaner. Anything for dusting, for cleaning, for whatever you want, you just need one thing. And I remember when I first started, I made Matt make all these labels. I was like, okay, I want a windows, I want a stainless steel. And then I realized I didn't have to do that. I could just use one bottle. I'm like, sorry to make you go through all that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. We have a bottle on our counter in the kitchen, and I'm gonna have to fill it up again soon, but I'm refilling it because I'm grabbing it all the time. If I just need to pre-treat a stain, and I have 3 kids and a very active little 2.5-year-old. So it's a stain on something always. I grab it. It's like a pre-treater for stains. It gets grime off the stove, the counter, the sink. If I want to do a quick wipe on the toilet seat, and then I can use the same exact bottle to get some fingerprints off a window really quick. I use it on the floor. Totally. You don't need a separate bottle and a separate concentration really at all.
Yeah,
stuff's awesome.
I have a bottle like that in both bathrooms and the kitchen, and that's it. And they're always I don't have to fill them because you literally use it, for everything.
Yeah. And listen, if you want scents like Mrs. Myers, if you're like, gosh, it's spring, I want to switch things up a little. I'm tempted to get whatever, I don't know, geranium garden scent, Mrs. Myers or whatever's on sale. Put your essential oils from Young Living inside the cleaner and switch up the scent. Like people do that all the time at Christmas. We use Christmas Spirit because it adds a little zest and a little festive to your cleaning day just by putting it in the Thieves bottle. So springtime, putting some orange and putting some lemon in there is amazing. Or add the floral oils, add some joy to your Thieves cleaner.
Or this month, with qualifying orders, we get that beautiful spray bottle that you can make, and
Mhm.
it's a gorgeous spray bottle. I'll get it in a
It's
second.
a
It
room
has free
spray,
bottle
right?
of Luscious lemon.
Yeah.
It's a room spray,
You're so
and
awesome.
it smells luscious lemon in a little water, and I add just a little bit of witch hazel to
Mhm.
emulsify it, and it's so nice, and that's in both bathrooms. So
I'm glad you said that about the luscious lemon. I don't think I've smelled anything more incredible than that oil. I like
it's
wear it on my wrists.
That's what I feel
It's
like.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
it's
it's in,
incredible.
it's in the diffuser, and of course they have the
Hmm.
soap and then the lotion.
Right,
I really fell in love with it. Jen
right.
turned me onto it a number of months ago, and I'm in love with it.
And there's the luscious lemon hand soap, which is amazing for your bathrooms this time of year. And you can get at least two or three bottles out of one.
Yeah.
So you can take half of that out, keep it in a little mason jar, fill the rest with water. And then when that hand soap runs out, put in that extra half a bottle you saved and add more water because the products are really concentrated. Do not get duped by greenwashing and be careful what you're buying because, so real quick, this is the information. The organic, oh, sorry, I just lost my thing. The Organic Consumers Association rated the carcinogen level of Mrs. Meyer's dish soap to be higher than Palmolive. And you wouldn't think so because Palmolive is blue. So we know it has like all that dye in it, or it's like fluorescent green, right? So that just like looks bad. And then there's the Mrs. Meyer's that says no sodium lauryl sulfate, all natural. So we're like, oh, that's a much better option. But it has a
Just
very strong fragrance, and all those chemicals are getting absorbed through our bloodstream. And once you switch to Young Living and you smell what real plants and herbs are supposed to smell like, you can't tolerate that fake fragrance anymore. That's your body and your whole olfactory system that Peggy was saying, your whole hormonal system, your endocrine system in your body going, no, this smells like poison, because it is. It's literally poison for the air. It's poison for our skin. And it's garbage. It's garbage to begin with. We should not be buying it at all. So that's scary. Those ingredients are attributed to liver toxicity, attributed to cancers, respiratory issues, tumors, bad stuff. So I want to say about the kitchen and bath scrub. This is not just for scrubbing your bathtub or your sink or a really grimy oven, because it does work incredible for all those things. But I keep this under my kitchen sink, and I use it on a pan or a dish, a baking dish, to get the hard, like the crusty food off of it. And it works like a charm. It polishes my cookware like perfectly. You know how sometimes your cookware can get those cloudy like stains on them and things like that, and then the food starts to stick or whatever else. This stuff is a gem. And I would not rub a product all over my pots and pans or put it into my dishwasher for my family to then eat off of it the next day. So it really is something to think about. All the products that we use and what you're touching with your skin. So does anyone else have a favorite in the Thieves line that they want to share any hacks for?
well,
I
I'll mention something. How I think a number of you live in New Jersey or Pennsylvania, New York area. Well, I owned a couple of houses there, and mold was always an issue, and because it's so moist, and also even in Central Oregon, when we were selling that house, there's black mold was an issue with all the volcanic rock and everything. And so when, of course, to keep the mold down, and out of the air, I always diffuse thieves, especially in the basements and in the attic areas where mold spores tended to accumulate. And then when we had the hurricanes come in New Jersey, I had an unfinished basement, and there was visible mold on the walls and like growing. And I would simply spray the household cleaner, and literally you could see the mold spores. It's like the thieves digest the mold spores and eliminates it, and they don't tend to come back. And when I needed to sell both of my last houses, there were areas where weren't really living spaces that were kind of cold and dank, that were like, they definitely had mold on it. And so in order to sell the house, Fred and I had to deal with it. So our mold remediation consisted of a big canister, a pump, with a pump and a sprayer with Thieves household cleaner, a whole bottle of Thieves in there, and we sprayed all the surfaces and just let it digest it. And then we would, then we washed it down, and then we had a diffuser going. And when we had inspections, there was nothing. They found nothing because it was gone. So, and it's so inexpensive. And what was really interesting, both houses, the people who bought the houses mentioned that they loved the smell of the house. It was so inviting. They felt just kind of like their whole bodies relaxed when they walked in, and it felt like home.
Nice.
To touch on that,
Simple.
we had for Ida, we got a lot of flooding in the basement, and Matt and I have a lot of things in the basement, so it was hard to get everything off the floor and then to go through it and clean it. So we were worried about mold. So I have the Aroma Lux, and for people that don't know what that is, it's a diffuser, but you just put the bottle to it. And so we kept that on in the basement, and it took us a couple days to go through everything. And, some things were already like, because the water got into, let's say, like a comforter that was in a bag, but it got inside of it through the zipper. And so like it sat for, so like it was just a mess. But we had someone come by, the appraiser or whatever for the insurance for part of it. And he was like, he couldn't believe when I told him how much water we had. He's like, you guys do a better job than like the mold remediators, like, because we had used them. I was like, oh, it's all about the Thieves. But I know someone just asked recommendation for cleaning hard water stains.
I would say white vinegar mixed with the kitchen and bath scrub. That would be what I would personally do in a little dish, and some elbow grease, maybe kind of make a paste out of it and let it sit for a little while. The white vinegar will be key, but you're going to need an abrasive too, like the kitchen and bath scrub.
Yeah.
I don't know. What would you say?
I would probably just add lemon. Also,
yeah,
when dealing with hard water, I mean, I would, separate subject, but I would look into a whole house water filtration, because not only do you get cleaner water, but it's going to help with that issue. And then a trick for that too is when you run the dishwasher to add white vinegar to the rinse cycle, so you don't get those like hard stains on it. So I know, and someone had asked me, Lori asked me, so everyone usually asks me what I use for my toilet. So I have 2 boys, and I love my Thieves cleaner, but I need something extra for the toilets. Like I just have to. So I make these, and I have to actually make a new set because I have 3 of them. These are just, and typically I don't use plastic, but you need plastic because you need to squeeze it. I just took these. I think I had them from the hospital after I had the kids, these Perry bottles. So you
They
can use
look
it.
familiar.
Yeah, like whatever you have in the house. I was like, oh, I'm not doing anything with these. So I just make a big batch and I dump it. I kind of put it in 3 of these. And I'm gonna type out my recipe in the chat. So it's baking soda. You want to use Castile soap, unscented. Dr. Bronner's, I'm okay with the unscented one. Water, and then it's a capful of the Thieves household detergent. And then I use 15 drops of purification. You can add any essential oil. You fill it up. I've actually, because I kind of modify it every time I make it, I add probably a little more water, because what happens is it'll start to separate, like once you use it or you let it sit, and the baking soda will separate from the liquid. So you have to shake it, before you use it. But sometimes it gets a little clunky. So you could probably add a little bit more water. I mean, there's no perfect, the great thing about all this stuff is like, there's no, I mean, yes, there's like tried and true methods, but it's all like what works for you. So you kind of like play around with the recipes and just do whatever you feel. But this works great for the toilet.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, what else does everyone have?
Does anyone have a recommendation for an oven cleaner? Like,
I just use these.
let's say your husband used the oven and like it ended up with grease all over the bottom, just theoretically.
You're asking for a friend.
I'm asking for a friend. Absolutely.
So I actually just cleaned my oven the other day, and like I said in the chat, I still have the Bon Ami scrub because I'm trying to use it so I can order the Thieves scrubs. I really want it. But I actually used that on my oven and then sprayed my heavy degreaser Thieves. It's basically 2 capfuls of Thieves. And when I tell you it got everything off the gunk on the oven door, everything. And I used the Scrub Mommy, and I really didn't have to scrub that hard, but it got everything out of the oven. It was pretty awesome.
That's awesome. Oh, wow. Did you take before and after pictures?
No, I wish I thought about it when I was in the middle of it, and I was like, dang it. But yeah, and before I switched, I would just use Easy Off, and not like awful, but it would take so much scrubbing, and I'm like, wow, this is just some scrub. Like the powder scrub. I could have used baking soda too if you have it, if you don't have like the Thieves scrub, but then Thieves degreaser, just 2 capfuls of Thieves, and it took it right off, and I just wiped it off with a microfiber cloth.
It's amazing. And then like, of course, like we give it a rinse, but let's think about it. We put our food back in the oven. So whatever you were cleaning with before, Brittany, I mean, I'm sure it was like in the oven air, and near the food. It's such a better feeling to have these products in our home, right? Around our food, around our family. It does wonders for our health, short-term and long-term.
Right.
I'm so happy to hear that story. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's a really important point, Katie. I'm sure we've all experienced, any of us who have used toxic products, in the old days, which I did. And then, you clean your oven, you think you get it all off, and then you turn it on to reheat it, and then all those gosh awful fumes are coming out. It's just almost impossible to get rid of the residual chemicals and the synthetic fragrances and all that stuff. So it really is such a wonderful feeling to clean with the Thieves. And it just feels like just fresh.
Right. And our pets too. I know I see Lori on this call. You and Peggy have talked before with your love of cats. To have the Thieves cleaner around is really, really, really important. But if we just have to be very careful because we're all, there's so much misleading consumerism going on with the greenwashing and getting, falling for buying chemicals, because these companies know their marketing tactics. They really do, but we have to be our own advocates. And like the ingredients in this Thieves dish soap are beautiful. I mean, you feel so good using this, and it works, and it's concentrated. And when you're on the ordering program. So who here is on the loyalty ordering program with Young Living? Or do you have questions about it? Are you hesitant? You don't know what it's about? You feel like you're signing your life away? You feel like you have to buy the same thing every month? Like there's a lot of, please ask your questions, because there's a lot of, sometimes I find misconceptions about what it is. But basically the program gives you an opportunity to slowly surround your home with essential oils and Thieves products at your own pace and give you money back. So it's a rewards program where you get money back. So right now, like every time I spend $100 on my monthly order with Young Living, they give me $20 of that back onto my account that I can use to buy like a free face cream, a really incredible face cream with frankincense and myrrh in it, like for free, right? Like that's amazing. So that's what the program is. It gives us an opportunity and helps us stay accountable for this lifestyle every month. And we get money back. So you customize what you want to get. Most people do not order the same thing every month, but a lot of people do if you're tackling a specific health goal and you want to do that. Ningxia Red you can get on the rewards program, all the Thieves products, all the oils that you need for a certain purpose, or just your daily lifestyle oils, and go at your own pace and get money back. Much, much more beneficial than coming to your Young Living account only twice a year and spending like a big chunk of money and not getting anything back at all. Like it's much better to go slowly at your pace, since this is an entire lifestyle company. There's every area of your home, even your cooking pantry. To know about you guys, I love to cook. I see Kathy is on this call too. Her and I share a love for cooking. Girl, I cannot wait to get in the kitchen with you again. But there's einkorn flour, there's einkorn flakes. We have even really, really healthy spaghetti in Young Living, because again, Gary was a farmer, so he understands how to keep these crops pristine. Very different from the other food and other products out there that are readily available to us. So I don't have to leave my house to shop for Young Living. It's very easy for me as a mom of 3. I just get on my computer, I access my account, and every month my order comes right to my doorstep and I get a huge chunk of money back. And I get the pleasure of sharing Young Living with others, sharing my experience. Brittany, I'm going to share your experience now that I've heard it. I get to tell that story to my friends too, and I get to help other people switch over to chemical free. And then Young Living sends me a thank you check, which helps me buy groceries for my family. So it's a beautiful thing. I used to love this certain, I think it was like a chapstick or a lip gloss. And I would tell all my friends about it, and they would go to Target and they would buy the lip gloss. And I was like, I get a kickback for that. Like, I don't get like a referral bonus, like nothing, right? But in Young Living, when I'm just saying like, hey, this is a legitimate story about how much I love the kitchen and bath scrub, Young Living is kind enough to give a thank you check for that referral. And it's a beautiful thing because I don't need to leave my house to help support my family in that way. And most people use that money and turn it right around, and they get all of their Young Living lifestyle for free. So wherever you want to take that opportunity, it's there for the taking. And it's an awesome, awesome, very genuine, very legitimate, beautiful thing. Peggy, do you have anything you want to add to that? Does anyone have questions? I think we're just about wrapped up with the spring cleaning ditch and switch. And
if anyone wants recipes, so there's an ongoing recipe that I know everyone's done where they take the laundry detergent and they put it in 3 separate bottles, but I've even been able to take that and you can get way more bang out of your buck for that. So I just posted the recipe, and that's when I was telling you that my sister-in-law, she literally it works. So I have a stain, like if there's any recipes you need, just let me know and I can put the recipe, because there's carpet, you sprinkle with baking powder and just essential oils. I mean, it's pretty simple. Sometimes Matt, and he's sitting right next to me hiding, but he'll take a piece of toilet paper and just put essential oils in it and then vacuum it up. I mean, so like you could do whatever you want. There's a stain stick. Brittany, actually, there's a fabric softener and a bleach recipe. So like whatever recipes anyone needs, like just ask and I can post it in the chat. That might be helpful.
Nice.
Oh,
And we have another class coming up. Matt, are you teaching that one?
What is it?
You totally, he's like, wait, what? He
I said,
totally could.
What class is it?
The next topic, dive deeper, coming up. You're teaching with Peggy, right?
what is the
Matt's an amazing, supportive husband that also loves Young Living, and you don't always find that kind of support. You guys are such an awesome dynamic duo. I love it. You use each other so well, and that's a really beautiful thing.
Yep.
So what is our next dive deeper call topic, Peggy? We're going into May, right?
I was just asking that question.
I think we need to set it up. I would love to crowdsource some suggestions because we're setting up our May classes at the end of this week. So if you guys are muted, feel free to unmute and chime in. What class do you want to hear about? What topic do you want to hear about, or type it in the chat? Because we will more than likely run with your suggestion.
You know, some things we've done, like
Summer
every week for us,
staples.
good to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, like kids line. If there's anyone that's on the phone that wants to know
Mhm.
more about, or anything like really specific, like just think of
Mhm.
something you don't know that you wish you knew, and type it in the
Mhm.
chat or unmute yourself, and we can cover
Yeah.
it.
And we're heading into May. So around May and June is when I like to get my insect repellent and my sunscreen and my Lavaderm spray, because everyone else starts buying it in June and July.
Mhm.
So don't wait for July, you know. Did somebody type something?
Brittany put a why, like why Young Living class.
YYL. That's a good one. Like an introduction to why Young Living would be the way to go, and
Mhm.
invite friends. Yes, you can always invite friends to these calls. Like sometimes I'll go, oh, so-and-so, I think this topic would interest you. I want to invite you tonight. It's free. You can like plug in while you're folding laundry. Listen with one ear, or really look forward to it, sit down with some tea and be all in with your video and everything. But that's a great topic. Sunscreen and insect repellent this month. Smart girl. Yeah. Well, this was a fantastic call. Thank you, Marlisa, for sharing so much, and Peggy for all your incredible knowledge. We will come out with our May schedule ASAP and post in the groups and spread the word, right? You can always find that updated schedule as well at plusoils.com. And then you'll always find the dive deeper link at /dive deeper. So you can save that in your queue on your phone. And that would be easy.
This was
Thanks
great.
for coming.
Thank you, Katie. It was
This
awesome.
was good.
Yeah, and thank you, Marlisa. And thank you everyone for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much.